Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game Mess. So, taking a fun video for me today and hopefully for you guys too. That is because there is now a static recompilation of Deadly Premonition. If you've ever seen my videos on this topic, I absolutely think this game is a 10 out of 10 perfect game. Not so much mechanically, but story-wise, thematically, and overall being about as close as you can get to a Twin Peaks video game. This to me is perfection. I'm so happy to see it getting statically recompiled. And this was sent to me by a developer going by the name of Dmitro Bidlov. Hopefully I got that pronunciation right, because honestly, pronunciations aren't my strong suit. Now this is a RexGlue recompilation, which means that the PowerPC code is being statically recompiled into native executable code on x86 architecture, but the developer has also gone in and fixed a lot of the bugs in Xenia that would cause rendering issues and the incorrect colors. And I will say right now, it is definitely performing over what Xenia would do on Deadly Premonition. And I know there's a lot of different versions of this game, but the original Xbox 360 release is still the de facto best version of the game to play, so much so that they've done interviews with the developers and they've said this is the definitive edition, even if there's other editions out there. And on Xenia, it definitely isn't perfect whatsoever, so getting better graphics here, absolutely just straight up something I love to see. Before I get too far involved though, do me a huge favor down below, hit like and subscribe and ring that notification bell, definitely helps us out. And if you feel so inclined to support the channel, I got a Patreon link down below as well. And if you have played Deadly Premonition before, leave me a comment and tell me what you think about the game, because it's definitely divisive. People either think it's a 1 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10. There really doesn't seem to be any wiggle room in between. And I think it just depends on what your personality type is, what type of games you like, and whether or not you've watched Twin Peaks from start to finish like 6 or 7 times in your life. Not saying I have, but I definitely have. And just so you are aware, the developer has been going in and working on the issues in Xenia, so hopefully at some point in time those could actually be backported over, so if you just want to do straight emulation, you'll be able to do that in a much better format. But honestly, anything Deadly Premonition is going to get my attention, but the developer was very clear. This project is still in development, and if you ever played before, you'll know there's so many side quests, so many side stories, and different mechanics in the game. This is probably going to be hard mode when it comes to actually bug testing everything to make sure 100% of the game works 100% correctly. It is a large open world game with a lot of story elements in it, and every single one of those will have to be checked and then double checked to make sure that everything is running exactly as it should, so I do not envy that task. It's going to be absolutely massive. And the developer on this one, I will leave a link in the description below, also works with modders and then has a website where you can actually patch up the PC version of the game as well to get that running way more stable, because honestly it is a mess. Now they did let me know, and they were very upfront, that they did use Claude for some components of this, basically identifying where the issues were and then going in and hand fixing them. And for a lot of the color work, they went in and hand valued everything to make sure that the colors were actually represented correctly. And I went over some of those screenshots, and even though not exactly my forte, I deal in film color, I do understand exactly how it's done, and matching those is an important thing. So it is very handmade, but it also does have that assistance, and I know some people care about that, so I'll let you guys know in the video. But honestly, what I'm seeing here as far as Xbox 360 recompilations with RexGlue are concerned, this one definitely, in my opinion, is the most impressive, because it is improving over the performance of Xenia, making it the de facto best way to play the Xbox 360 version, unless you have real hardware sitting in front of you. And even then, you can get a few speed ups here and there, because the game mechanically maybe didn't run the best on 360. And obviously, if you ever played Deadly Premonition 2, the launch version on Switch, that one was basically absolutely broken from the start, but still a very fun game. And that is the thing about Square and the Deadly Premonition franchise. It is absolutely filled with 10 out of 10 personality and like 3 out of 10 performance and actual game code. So trying to clean up a lot of the issues in something like Deadly Premonition is going to be a massive undertaking as well, but I'm so glad someone is doing it. This is just the type of game that if you love retro games, if you love kind of that PlayStation 2 era fun with Xbox 360 graphics wrapped around it, if you love a good story and a weird story, Deadly Premonition has absolutely everything you could possibly need, and having an easier way to play it's definitely going to be a good time. But let's go into the first or two soundtrack samples so you can hear the audio quality here coming out of the recomp, and I'll be right back with a lot more information on this one. I mean, one of the strongest points of Deadly Premonition outside of the storyline is just how absolutely batshit crazy it is in all of those best ways has got to be the soundtrack, and it sounds great here coming out of this Rex Glue static recomp. When I talked earlier about going in and hand fixing a lot of the graphics, the developer on this one used Render Doc, which is basically a graphics debugging tool to be able to go in and take out or fix issues or amend content that were causing issues in Xenia. And that is something I really did enjoy taking a look at, because for me, that is the artistry behind some of these things. Because I'm not going to say that coding is an art the same way that fine arts are, but it definitely takes a deft hand. But when you get into dealing with the graphics, fixing the colors, and being able to hand identify what needs to be taken care of and then fixing that up, that is when it does go into that color science and artistic theory, and that is definitely coming across here in the static recomp. And because again, I am an MFA, not some sort of coder whatsoever, I can code a little bit, but it's not very good. I do like seeing all of that stuff, because a lot of times the technicality of these projects are what take the forefront when we have discussions about them. When you're actually fixing graphical issues and fixing up a lot of the color issues, that goes into more of the art, and I kind of gravitate towards that a little bit more. And again, everything I played around with here just worked 100% perfectly fine, outside of one shadow in a lightning scene where it kind of just had a weird outline around it. But again, compared to Xenia, that's just going to be night and day, pun very much intended for the nighttime scene, different than what you get. And it's just a fun thing to be able to have a version of this game that is running better than you could ever emulate, and honestly, even in some instances, runs better than on the 360. Because even though it's the initial release, and this game has been re-released over and over again, this one is still absolutely the one you want to play. I own this, I have the director's cut in PlayStation 3, and it really isn't even a contest, because the PlayStation 3 version of the game just runs worse and definitely has a lot more problems, even if you use RPCS3. So this is just an absolute win in my book. And honestly, when you think of that question I always love to ask, if you could snap your fingers and make one game show up on an Xbox 360 recompilation tomorrow, I would pick, maybe 50% of the time, something like Deadly Premonition, and now that day is today. So I will leave a link in the description below to the repo, but right now, because it is still in active development, you have to build the repository yourself. It should work perfectly fine, but it's one of those things you're not going to be able to go under the release tab on this one and actually just download the executable in a zip file. But you should definitely spend the time building this one, or ask a friend who knows how to build GitHub repos to do it for you. Because if you've never played Deadly Premonition before, again, I can't stress out enough, this is a special game. It is not a perfect game, but it really goes to show that when developers put their personality into a title, you get something really special out of the back. Because right now, a lot of people, myself included, feel like modern gaming, the PlayStation 5, Series X, and Switch 2 generation, everything just kind of feels the same. It feels designed by committee, and it kind of feels like it's trying to appeal to everyone. And I always like to say, at least in my personal life when I'm dealing with students, if you try to appeal to everyone, you're really not going to make anyone super happy. Sure, you could maybe make them kind of moderately impressed, but if you try to target every audience, then you don't really hit with any of them. Or something like Deadly Premonition for a very particular audience, but the ones that love it absolutely love it. But one more soundtrack sample, and I'll be right back. I mean, honestly, having a static recomp of Deadly Premonition absolutely makes me a very, very happy video game esoteric, and if it makes you play the game, that'll make me even happier, because honestly, let's be realistic here, all you have to lose is time if you want to try this one out. So the link is in the description below, and again, just stick with the game. It has a very slow opening. This intro scene here, a fun time, but as soon as it's over, you get into the meat of the game. The open world opens up, and then you realize just how insane the actual world of Deadly Premonition is, and just how oddball the story is in all of the best, most kind of cheesy Twin Peaks ways possible. This game is basically a soap opera played as a survival horror game, and I absolutely love it for that. I really appreciate the developer Dmitro Bidlov sending me over a build so I could check it out on the channel. And again, if you've ever played the game before, leave me your thoughts down below, because I'd love to hear if you loved it or if you hated it. Sure to that. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below, but I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.